everybody, welcome to this course. This course is the chemistry of hair color. So this is going to go ahead and explain the whys and just what's going on while the hair is processing. So it's important to know so that way you can avoid and know how to avoid over processing or breakage of the hair or anything like that. So this course will go ahead and brush up on all of those things and the whys. So what we're going to go over today is going to be types of color, the categories of color, the typical chemicals and what they do, and then Olaplex. I know Olaplex is not a hair color, guys, but it is so crucial for the hair, and we'll go ahead and talk more about that once we get there. I promise I could talk to you about Olaplex till the cows come home. So there are two categories of color. These two categories do different things. There are oxidative color and non-oxidative color. These are the two different categories. Oxidative color contains ammonia typically or some other catalysts. It uses hydrogen peroxide to oxidize the hair, and it can lighten the hair. Non-oxidative colors does not need to oxidize. There's no need to mix, they're ready to go, and they cannot lighten the hair, they can only deposit. So you can think of oxidative dyes as permanent color and demi-color, or demi-color or demi-permanent, and then non-oxidative color as semi-permanent and temporary colors. I know there's been a confusion where people thought they were one and the same, but temporary and semi are two different categories. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. So non-oxidative color sits on the outside of the hair strand, which is on top of that cuticle. That does not need to be mixed. Again, it's so you're thinking of fashion colors or fashion colors like Pulp Riot or Pravana, or just honestly any fashion show color. These molecules are so big that they cannot penetrate through the through to the cortex. So they typically sit on top of the hair strand, so meaning on top of that cuticle. It can stain the hair but not lighten the hair. So if it stains the hair, then you know your hair is over processed. The porosity is off, and it just will grab everything and also spit it out all at the same time. Kind of fun. But when you're thinking of non-oxidative color, you're thinking of temporary and semi-permanent. So what are those two? So temporary is a mascara. Yes, people often forget mascara is a temporary color that you tint your eyelashes with. Colored hairspray, colored rinses, which all these coats the cuticle and typically last one shampoo. For semi-permanent, these are our fashion colors. So Pravana, Pulp Riot, Manic Panic, and these typically last 6 to 8 shampoos. The reason being is that the molecule is slightly smaller, so it can kind of grab onto that cuticle a little bit better than the temporaries. The temporaries are just the molecule so huge and they just slide right off, especially with water. But yeah, so let's go ahead and go into the next section, which we're going to talk about oxidative color. Oxidative color lightens and deposits in one step, but remember, it only does that for virgin hair. Color does not lift color. It's longer lasting, requires hydrogen peroxide to process. It must oxidize. If it doesn't oxidize, guys, nothing's gonna happen. And when you think of the colors that fit into oxidative color, you're thinking of permanent color and demi-permanent color. So let's kind of go ahead and break that down. So demi-permanent color slightly lifts the cuticle so it can deposit, and things like that would be Shades EQ, Color Sync, pretty much your toners, guys. So it slightly lifts the cuticle so it can deposit in, so that way this will sit in between the cortex and the cuticle layer. It won't exactly penetrate through to the cortex, but it'll sit right in the middle. And this will typically last about 6 to 8 weeks before it starts to gently fade out. Permanent color lives and deposits in one step on virgin hair again. It requires an aniline derivative to hold the color in. Not truly permanent, just alters the structure of your hair. So a lot of people think that permanent color means permanent and you don't have to do anything again. Well, that's why hair fades, because it's not exactly permanent. The only thing that's permanent about permanent color is that it permanently alters the structure of your hair. So that's when you want to use Demize to refresh the mids to the ends, and then use a permanent to color the regrowth. And retouches are typically needed 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks of growth. Okay. Now let's talk about lighteners. So lightener decolorizes the hair, breaks melanin into pieces, and allows light to pass through. So what does that mean? Well, decolorizing the hair moves through the 10 stages of decolorization. So you have your blue, you have your blue violet, violet, red violet, red, red orange, orange, yellow, and pale yellow. These are the 10 stages of decolorization that the lightener has to go through. Keep in mind though, not everyone is going to have to go through all those stages. For example, for myself, my natural root is about a 3N. So I contain in the 10 phases red violet. So I have red violet in all the stages prior to it. So the only pigments that I'm missing is true violet and blue. So I don't have those, so I don't have to go as much of a processing time to lift through those layers compared to someone that has a level 1N. Now someone with a level 7N will have to do even less processing time than I do, because they only contain fewer of the processing colors within that hair. The lightener breaks down melanin into little pieces. So melanin is everywhere. Melanin is in your skin, your nails, your hair, and melanin is pretty much what gives it color. So the darker skin you have, the more melanin is present. The lighter skin you have, the less melanin is present. In your hair, melanin is what gives it its color. So when you're lightening, it's going to break up those melanin molecules and allow light to pass through them, which will appear lighter. Chemicals you need to know. So there's ammonia, hydrogen peroxide, aniline derivatives, ceramides, and ODS2. So what exactly are those? They're oxidative chemicals, and ammonia is responsible for lifting the cuticle. Without ammonia or a catalyst like ammonia, you're not going to be able to get past that cuticle layer. It's found in the tube of color, and the lighter the color, the higher the ammonia content. So basically, a 1N tube is going to have way less ammonia than a level 10N tube. Hydrogen peroxide, this is what breaks up that melanin. It's found in the developer, so the stronger the developer, the more hydrogen peroxide is present. The aniline derivative, it's a small uncolored dye combining with the hydrogen peroxide to form a larger permanent dye molecule within the cortex. So this is what makes permanent permanent. So the aniline derivative, if I could talk today, and the hydrogen peroxide molecules come together to form that bigger molecule that's going to go ahead and stain and stay within that cortex. ceramides, fills in the holes, allowing for more consistent, even color results. So what it means by fills in the holes is that Lightner doesn't know between melanin and other bonds that are in there. So when it breaks down the bonds, the ceramicides fill in those gaps to allow the color to process evenly, and so you can have a nice, beautiful canvas. ODS2. So this one's not really common, but it is present and known. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of touch a little bit on it. So ODS2 is an oil delivery system in oil colors. So they deposit conditioners as it colors. So this is like kind of like a treatment color with added properties to go ahead and condition and color your hair at the same time. I personally haven't played with any of these oil colors, but I've heard they've done phenomenal things. Lastly, let's talk about Olaplex. So Olaplex is a bond building technology that works on a molecular level to repair damaged and broken bonds. So it goes ahead and repairs the hydrogen bonds, and it repairs broken bonds and rejuvenates the hair, increases tensile strength and restores elasticity, protects the cuticle from further breakage, and serves as an artificial bridge between sulfur atoms. So what I love about Olaplex is as you're coloring or lightening the hair, it's going in and mending those bonds that are being broken by the lightener, so it gives minimal damage. This is something that I highly recommend that you include in your salon and have for all your guests. I would upcharge the service because it is a treatment, and I'll be honest, Olaplex is not cheap, so it's something though that's crucial for healthy long hair. But that's it for today, and thank you for listening and tuning in. And if you have any questions, please be sure to grab me at the salon or message here at the Telemaness, and we'll go ahead and get back to you. All right, have a good day.